Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Monica and I post videos all about personal finance, all about the stimulus checks, all about investing for beginners, all about budgeting during a crisis. So if you are interested in topics like those, be sure to subscribe down below to the channel. Also, please like this video, Hulk smash the like button, and turn on your post notifications so you never miss any of my stimulus check or stimulus package updates. So this is your second round of stimulus checks and stimulus package update. When is the second stimulus check date for 2020? When is the second stimulus check deposit date? What is the status of the new bill, and where are the second round of stimulus checks? So a couple of days ago, we got a renewed request for the $2,000 a month stimulus check. That is the Emergency Money for the People Act. And I was so excited to hear about this renewed request. I'm sure some of you have seen my previous videos where I have been fighting for people to sign the Emergency Money for the People Act petition. I felt like we kind of just forgot about the $2,000 a month. We settled for the $1,200 a month, but the truth is that we as the constituents and we as the people have the power to speak to Congress and let them know what is important to us. And right now we're in a crisis. We need Americans to be getting monthly stimulus checks, if not at least one more stimulus check. I mentioned it in my previous video about how Congress was able to pass a bill in just a couple of weeks. The president went to restaurant owners. He spoke with them about what's going on with their restaurants and about the Paycheck Protection Program. A week later, the House of Representatives has a bill drafted. They send it over to the Senate. They're able to vote on it. It goes up to the president now. He's going to sign it in a couple of days, if not today. And they were able to get this done so smoothly, quickly, and efficiently. And it goes to show who is important in the eyes of Congress. And that is really business owners, that is real estate owners, that is stock investors, not we the people. So I think if we want this $2,000 a month stimulus check, we have to fight for it. And one of the ways we can fight for it is by signing the petition in my description box, calling our local representatives, letting them know we did our part, we stayed home during the pandemic, you do your part, and you make sure that people are not without food and that they have a home to live in. Now, according to a Forbes article that was released this week, Senator Kamala Harris and Andrew Yang, who are both former presidential candidates, renewed their call for us to get the $2,000 a month stimulus check. Senator Harris and Yang, both of whom, as I said, were 2020 presidential candidates, renewed the call for the monthly stimulus check. I do think a monthly stimulus check is very fair, especially seeing what people are having to deal with day in and day out. They are food insecure. They are not sure if they'll be able to pay their mortgage. They're not sure if they will be able to pay their rent. And I think it's very fair until the pandemic is over, at the very least, to give out monthly stimulus checks, because if people cannot go out to work and provide for their family because the government says that we can't, then they should be taking care of the people at this time. Now, we know both Harris and Yang have expressed their support for monthly stimulus checks, and in particular, Yang centered his whole presidential campaign around universal basic income. And pretty much universal basic income is when you have a basic income guarantee, basic living stipend, guaranteed annual income, or universal income. Essentially, it's a theoretical governmental public program for a periodic payment delivered to all on an individual basis. So it just says that here is a default amount, whether that number is $1,000 a month or $500 a month. We should all have a basic income level. Now, given that more than 40 million people are currently unemployed and struggling, now is the right time to create a safety net so Americans don't fall into poverty or further into poverty. Now, these are the main key points of Senator Harris's bill. She wants us to give up to $2,000 a month to anyone earning up to $120,000 per year. Now, the monthly payment would begin to phase out starting at $100,000 per year. Married couples who file jointly would receive up to $4,000 a month, and you of course can receive that $2,000 for each dependent with a maximum of 3 dependents. The legislation would be retroactive to March 2020. So for example, that means me being a single independent person making under $120,000 a year, you would get $2,000 for March, $2,000 for April, $2,000 for May, $2,000 for June, $2,000 for July, all the way until 3 months after the pandemic is over. Now that is a lot of money. Now, chances of us getting anything that is retroactive is unlikely, but even if we started the checks from this month on, or this month for the next 3 months, at least something to give the American people a safety net for the sacrifice they made for the greater good. Senator Kamala Harris has said the government should be here for the people in the moment of crisis, and I couldn't agree more. On the other side, Yang is proposing a $1,000 a month stimulus check or universal basic income check for life. Yang proposed $1,000 a month for life through a freedom dividend. Now, under Yang's plan, every US citizen over the age of 18 would receive $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. There are no requirements to receive the money, and these are guaranteed payments and would continue in perpetuity each month. Yang said he would pay for universal basic income through 4 sources of income. The first one being current welfare spending. Yang says that those who already receive social benefits can choose to keep their current benefits or receive $1,000 a month, but they couldn't receive both. Now, this extra income can help individuals avoid going to jail, going to the hospital. A lot of people find themselves in hard situations when their back is up against the wall, when they have no money, so they choose to do things that might be illegal or whatever the case is to put food on their table. So with this universal basic income, it's saying here is this $1,000 a month for you to get your basic living needs taken care of, and any extra income you make from your job or whatever can be used towards you pursuing your life goal or whatever you want to do in life. But at the very minimum, your living needs in terms of food and shelter will be met. The second is value-added tax. Yang estimates that a 10% value-added tax, or a VAT, on products or services can generate $800 billion of revenue. They have a VAT in other countries, which seems to be working well for these other countries, but a value-added tax is what he's proposing. I'm thinking that if people are going to have more money, maybe they'll be able to afford more in taxes, or this 10% value-added tax. But as long as you and I know that this tax money is going towards just helping us all have the basics, I believe everyone should have at least the basics of food and shelter. Now, everyone won't be able to be buying diamonds and living the high life, but I do agree that as human beings in a country like America, we should have the basic needs like food and shelter met. The third one is economic growth. Now, with stable monthly income, Yang believes recipients will spend their money. $1 spent in our economy, maybe buying a hot dog at a hot dog stand or buying something from a friend's small business, that money is going to circulate through the economy around 5 times. And Yang believes that this economic growth can generate $800 to $900 billion a year in revenue. And the fourth would be taxes, which sounds similar to the value-added tax, but Yang would fund the remaining costs of the freedom dividend through a financial transactions tax by ending favorable treatment for capital gains. Yang has said, and I quote, "Our problems have accelerated where we have experienced 10 years of displacement in 10 weeks. But we have a real chance here to alleviate poverty," right? There are multiple bills that would put $2,000 a month into the hands of every American for the duration of the pandemic, which we all know may extend for months, even years. And truth be told, during recessions, the rich generally get richer while the poor generally get poorer. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to the universal basic income. One of the cons would be the added taxes that we would have to pay, but one of the pros would be that it would help those who are at the lowest of the low, those who are in extreme poverty in our country. It would help them come up. And I think a country where people have access to the basics like food and shelter would allow for a better country and a better economy. So we have these two heavy hitters who are continuing to bring up and talk about ways to put money directly into Americans' pockets. I think it's very important that we continue to talk about it. Let's continue to talk about the $2,000 a month stimulus check. Let's continue to talk about the Emergency Money for the People Act. Let's continue to talk about Yang's proposal. Let's continue talking about ways that will directly put money into people's pockets. Because as we saw earlier this week, if Congress wants to pass a bill, they can pass a bill. And it's up to the American people, especially with this year being a voting year, with this year being a presidential election year, it's a very important time. Currently, there are people in the Senate who are at risk of losing their position in the Senate, so it may become Democrat controlled. On the other hand, the House of Representatives will have to protect about 12 of their seats to remain in control in the House of Representatives. We don't know who will become the president in November, but right now, all of the votes and all of the things that you're doing and saying to our congressional leaders is going to make all the difference. So that is the end of the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below which of the two proposals you prefer. Do you prefer Yang's $1,000 a month proposal, or do you prefer Kamala Harris's $2,000 a month proposal? Now, Yang's, of course, is throughout your life. In perpetuity, he is saying $1,000 a month for everyone forever. On the other hand, we have Kamala Harris, who is proposing the $2,000 a month until 3 months after the pandemic. Let me know which of the proposals you most agree with. And until next time, I will catch you all in my next stimulus check and stimulus package update. Bye, guys.